Well, this is eye-opening. Hey, everybody. Good morning. Hope you're all doing well. So, you know, last night was just a bone-crushing, heart-crushing loss by the Yankees, and their bullpen, which is clearly gassed, fell apart, right, in the extra innings against the Cleveland Guardians for a 9-5 loss. So this isn't something we don't know, right? This is all obvious. The other part that stinks about this is that Luis Hill had to be taken out of the game after 3 innings for back problems. So that doesn't help. But at least we could say it wasn't his arm. It's not his elbow, and it's not something else. So there's somewhat of a silver lining, but it doesn't make us feel much better. But I want to share an article with you that I found to be revealing that you might want to hear this. And I'm going to pop it up here. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Check this out. Aaron Boone won't commit to Clay Holmes being Yankees closer. Okay. This is different. Okay. This is not something that we've heard Aaron Boone. They've been fiercely loyal, and the players have been fiercely loyal to Clay Holmes as a closer while he's going through this tough period. Okay. We already know he's got 10 blown saves. No need to beat the same dead horse every single time like everybody else is doing. So I'm not even going to waste my time or waste yours. I'm going to read this. Expect to see a lot more mixing and matching from the Yankees at the end of games instead of simply relying on Clay Holmes as the regular closer. Asked prior to Tuesday's game against Cleveland if Holmes would close if there was a save opportunity, Aaron Boone said it could very well be Holmes, but again, I'll leave that open and try to put these guys in places where they match up really well, so we'll see. Okay. That comes after Holmes blew his 10th game of the season on Sunday against the Tigers in Williamsport, PA. The Yankees will instead begin to look more at matchups to determine who pitches the late innings. Okay, let's scroll down here. Okay, wait a minute. Where's this article at? If there's a bunch of right-handed hitters coming up in the 8th inning, Holmes might get the call there. And if a segment of lineup approaching in the 9th with a few tough lefties, they could turn to pitchers that have more success versus left-handers. Right? Holmes said he wanted to close, but he was open to other jobs. That's also eye-opening. Okay, I've never been too caught up in titles or roles, Holmes said, because before striking out 3 and walking a walk. And walking in a scoreless 9th inning, and the Yankees 9-5 12th inning loss to the Guardians. I'll approach it like I always have. I want to help the team win. Doesn't matter in what capacity. Pitching coach Matt Blake said Holmes has had a solid season. It's noisy around him and us. He's throwing the ball well. He's still throwing the ball well. As a matter of fact, he kind of is. So anyway, I'm going to attach this article down below, okay, for you to read. And this to me was revealing, and I think it's important to help us gain more perspective. And the fact of the matter is, okay, he's not committing to him as closer. That's news to us. I know it's what a lot of fans wanted, right? It's what a lot of fans have been crying about for a long time now. That's what we're here every single day in the live streams, right? Well, Boone's actually vocalizing a potential shift in mindset. Okay, they don't do that. So the fact that they are doing that is revealing. Now, the fact that, and to add to that, he mentioned matchups and so on and so forth. Well, Holmes isn't getting much help from some of the other relievers either. Mark Leiter needs to step it up, right? Some of these other relievers need to step it up. Tonkin got hit yesterday, unfortunately. He hasn't been really hit much. Neither has Luke Weaver. So there have been some bright spots. There have been some dark spots too, which is why it's so important that these reinforcements that are coming back in the near future, Cody Poteet pitched well yesterday, Lou Trevino pitched well yesterday, potentially Ian Hamilton, Nick Birdie, and some of these other guys, Scott Efros, are going to come in handy to supply the Yankees with some more fresh arms. I don't know how in the world they're going to do it on the 26-man roster, but they're going to have to figure out a way to make it work because, again, when it comes to the postseason, you're going to have all hands on deck. You're going to have the best guys at the position. I said this last week, too. And forget the egos. Forget all this stuff, all right? Forget the hurt feelings. These guys make millions of dollars. If they're not doing their job, they're going to be replaced with someone who is. Okay? And to that point, too, the Yankees really need, in my opinion, you might agree or might disagree, the Yankees really need to seriously consider leaving a couple of offensive players off the playoff roster and replacing them with a couple of guys who do. Okay, and before I go into that, and I will, make sure if you're not subscribed to this channel, that you subscribe to the channel, because this is the type of stuff that I like to talk about. And I think it's important to give the details. And I was waiting for something like this to happen so that I didn't have to, and I wasn't going to anyway, but subscribe to the noise that so many other people are making. Okay, trashing Holmes, trashing Boone, trashing Cashman. It's the same baloney every single day. Okay, now we have an article, and I'm going to attach it down below for you to read. Okay, that shows that the Yankees are having a mind shift change. Okay, back to the offensive players, they need to consider leaving guys like DJ LeMahieu and even Alex Verdugo off the postseason roster if they're not contributing. Okay, they really do. Maybe even Anthony Rizzo. People have been asking, where the hell's Ben Rice? It's a good question. Don't know. Okay. And I know, Anthony Rizzo's working his way back. And if he happens to be a better option than Ben Rice, then so be it. But if he doesn't, and they're still not confident with Ben Rice, then when John Birdie comes back, and I have a feeling he will be in September, and he's healthy, then you put him at first base. Okay. That way you can play Oswald Peraza at third base, and even Jazz Chisholm at second base. So yeah, that means also potentially leaving Gleyber Torres off the postseason roster or having him on the bench. These are the necessary moves that have to be made right now, or at least in the postseason. Okay, the roster does expand in September, and if they bring up Jason Dominguez and he happens to be healthy and performing, then what's the point of keeping him up here if you're not going to put him on a postseason roster and leave Alex Verdugo off? Or you take Trent Grisham off and you leave Verdugo on, and let Verdugo be the fourth outfielder and Dominguez be the starting left fielder. You do something. People were rubbed the wrong way about Trent Grisham's lack of hustle last night. Can't blame him. Okay, but these are the decisions that they're going to have to make now. If you want to make a run in the postseason, you have to have improvements at each position. And we have some guys in-house like Oswaldo Cabrera, Oswald Peraza, who could probably do a much better job than some of the guys we already have here. Right? And that's just a fact. What's the point of calling up Oswald Peraza if they're not going to play him? Right? Oswaldo Cabrera kind of has his footprint over a lot of things, whether it be base running, getting a hit here, manufacturing a run, doing something, right? So let's play these guys. Let's play John Birdie too. And when he comes back, he was known as an igniter here too. He manufactured runs. We use his speed. And if they call somebody like Cam Eden, who could be another base running weapon, okay. Okay. If these guys need to be here, I don't care if we've never heard of them before. I don't care if they've never played a game here. If they're going to do what the Yankees need them to do, put them on a postseason roster. If these guys that are here are not doing what the Yankees need them to do, to keep them off the postseason roster. Isn't the goal of the postseason to get to the next round and get to the World Series and potentially win? Right? Well, this is your opportunity to do that. If you have better guys in-house, since the trade deadline's already passed and you can't acquire any more Major League 26-man roster players, then you do that. And I would like to see them consider bringing in Hector Neris, who was released by the Cubs yesterday. Even if you bring him in for the rest of this year, there's a team option for next year. I think it's a club option. If it is a club option, you don't have to exercise it. Okay, you can have him on for the rest of the year. Give us another fresh arm in the bullpen. He's got closer experience, right? And now that we know Clay Holmes has communicated his openness to not being the closer, and Aaron Boone's open about having all hands on deck and the best matchups, right? Well, here's your opportunity to do that. If you can get him on the cheap, he's released. You can get him at the league minimum, right? It might be worth a look. Him and a bunch of other guys. And I would consider looking at Jake Diekman, another lefty who was released by the Mets, who's still a free agent, right? Got another lefty arm in there who's shown to be pretty decent with the Mets. So there's a couple of guys out there that might provide some value for the Yankees in the bullpen who